Friday night live improv from New York City and around the world. Oh my goodness. We have people from France, possibly. I don't know. They're from everywhere. I'm your host, Scotty Watson. I'm going to introduce you to our fabulous cast. Up in the corner, we got Don. Hey, Don Slovin. Taylor Edwards is right beside him, in my view. I don't know about your view, is in my view. Stephanie Falciano. Hi, how are you? How are you doing? And just Bridget to her friends. Ms. Bridget, if you're nasty, I say hello. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to meet the inhabitants of this very small town called Goon River. I'll tell you something about the people of Goon River. They're nice people. They're good folk, but they're opinionated. They have their opinions on things. And one thing about the people of Goon River is nobody's on the fence. People are either for it or they're against it. So what is a big event in the life of a small town? Something that a small town would have to make a choice about, like a new stoplight or something like that. What would be a big event in the life of a small town?
Putting in a crosswalk.
Oh, putting in a crosswalk. One of them fancy crosswalks. We didn't have those when I was a kid. Crosswalk. Well, the good people of Goon River, of which there was 4 of them, they were all on town council, and they needed to decide if they were for or against the new crosswalk. And as much as they were also the leadership of the town, they did all sorts of things around the town of Goon River. So why don't we meet a few of them now? I'm going to start in by introducing you to Andy Smythe. Andy, tell us what you did in Goon River and whether you were for it or against.
I ran the dry cleaner. And, in a small town like this, it's important to look good for our festivities.
Sure.
And I have to tell you, I was very pleased to have a crosswalk because sometimes people are a little speedy through town.
Okay. So you were for the crosswalk to slow things down.
Absolutely, yes.
Excellent. Good to know. Good to know. Simply Zena. Zena, nice to meet you, Zena. Tell us about yourself and what you did in. Oh, yeah.
On the zombie apocalypse supply store.
I didn't know that was a thing. You own the zombie apocalypse supply store.
You haven't seen the zombies in Florida. They ate that stuff, that potpourri stuff, and they ate it, and they turned into these crazy people, and they took off all their clothes, and they were wandering around outside. It's a thing. People don't get it. You have to be prepared when the zombies come.
Let me just recap here. You're talking about the naked potpourri zombies in Florida.
It's a true story.
I believe it. I believe it.
I don't know what it was called. It was the bath salts. They were eating the bath salts and they turned into this crazy cuckoo, just taking off their clothes and just coming on. They would bite people. Then you get infected. You get infected.
I believe all of it.
Power, strength. So you need a sword, you need some bullets, and you need the fire bombs. I got it all.
Sure, you got it all. But Zena, were you for or against the crosswalk?
Crosswalk. We need a crosswalk? What, you gonna walk? You gonna wait for the light? You gonna wait for the crosswalk while the zombies are attacking?
Good point.
No, we don't need it. Nah.
All right. Okay, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Take a couple of breaths. You'll be okay. Preacher Bob. Hello, Preacher Bob. I think I know what you did in the town. Maybe tell us about yourself and if you're for or against the crosswalk.
I was a gardener.
Oh, you were a gardener. Preacher Bob is your given name.
I guess I should go into that whole I'm not a preacher. I am a gardener.
Sure. But you do understand where people would get confused.
That's why I was going to tell you that story, but it's my dad, he was a preacher and he wanted to name me actually something that he wanted to name himself. So he ended up actually calling me, if you will, the preacher. But then on one day, my mom says, you don't want to have to really be a preacher. You should actually have a name preacher. So people would say that you're not the preacher. But
Sure.
what?
I said, sure.
Oh, I thought you would. And that's my time.
Wow. It's a good thing that your dad didn't shovel poop, because then you'd be poop shoveler Bob.
Or Gardner. If my name was Gardner and I became a gardener, I'd be Gardner the gardener.
That is true. I cannot deny that. Are you for or against the crosswalk, preacher?
I'm
Bob?
against it. I'm against it. You're going to have some cross rock and maybe then and knock over a bunch of plants? No way.
Plants. Cool. All right, preacher Bob. Oh, right, because of the gardener. You're okay. Gotcha. Clarice LaRue, tell us about yourself, what you did in the town, and if you're for or against it.
Well, I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Sure.
And I have 3 adorable children, 9, 6, and 4. And they take a bus into the next town, Rhodesia. Or I think down here most people call it Rhodesia or something. I don't know. We're a little new to the town, but they take the bus over and so because they have to take this bus, I am very in favor of the crosswalk because my kids have to cross the street and people just drive right through town. It's a small little town. You'd think people would slow down as they drive through, but they do not. They keep going 55 miles an hour right by my little 4-year-old. And I'm just like, he's out there by himself. You got to be a little more careful about children.
All right, then you're in the same boat as Andy. She just wants to slow him down. Whereas Zena, I think they're speeding up because of the zombies. Dynamite. Then let's dig down a little bit. I would love to find out what you were doing the day before they installed that big crosswalk. I know that some of you were against and some of you were for, but it was being installed and the day before. So tell me what you did the day before. Let's start with you. Zena. I'm interested in what you were up to the day before they installed that crosswalk.
The day before, I'm cleaning the swords, making sure everything was ready to go, sharpening the swords, fixing the guns. Guns don't really work so well, just telling you. Like, we got them, but the hatchets, now that's the real deal, because you just up off the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had hatchet throwing classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, and I don't know, that Andy, she wants that crosswalk and she's worried, but she came to the hatchet classes, just by the way. She came to those hatchet classes and she was pretty good. Sure. That woman can throw a hatchet.
It's fun to throw a hatchet. Who doesn't love throwing a hatchet?
Listen, Clarice LaRue and her 3 little stupid kids, they're going to be the next zombies, okay? Don't be kidding yourself, because kids can run fast. Faster than adults. Those kids can run fast. And they bite your leg. And that's it. Oh, you turn into one. Once you turn, there's no going back.
I hear you.
Oh, no, there's no time for that. Wow.
Back to you, Preacher Bob. What were you doing the day before the crosswalk went in?
I am scared to death I'm going to become a zombie. I'm telling you, she is talking in order with talk. But we don't have no hardware store. So some of the stuff she has in the zombie store can also be used for simple gardening. So that's where I get my hatchets and that's where I get my hose and I get all kinds of raking type things. And she has something called anti-gravity something. And I don't know, it works real well for compost. That's all I know. But I am scared to death that one of these days I'm going to turn into a zombie.
I think you're okay if you don't eat potpourri. I think you'll be okay. All right, over to you, Andy, in the dry cleaner. So tell me what you're doing the day before the crosswalk went in.
Well, I had gone to Zena's because I needed a cricket bat. And we all know the most effective zombie death instrument is the cricket bat. And while I tried to get behind the hatchet, I couldn't. And I decided on a cricket bat. And I picked a nice one out, just so you know. And I think it's a little silly to prepare for something that is so absurd, but I'm a dry cleaner. You never know who's coming in.
Yeah. You never know what those stains are, right?
You don't, and you got to be prepared. And, so I was just being prepared.
Gotcha. Clarice, the day before the crosswalk went in, can you tell me what you did, who you saw, that sort of thing?
Well, I was walking down to pick up my kids where the bus drops them off. And you know what? I stopped by Zena's store. That woman is a strange bird, I got to tell you. But I had heard that she, I heard through the grapevine something about her liking potpourri. And I make potpourri.
Oh,
and
no.
so I thought, let me give her a little potpourri as a gift. And, we'd had a little trouble butting heads over a fence line earlier. I thought it would, smooth things over. It did not. It was, I came in and said, I have this for you. And she up and down. It was like she'd crawl on the wall. She was like, get that away from me. Get that away from me. How dare you? How could you bring that into my store? And my God, I thank God my children were not there because the words she used were not appropriate for children.
Okay. And I appreciate you not using it here because we have virgin ears around here. All right. I want to talk about the day they actually installed the crosswalk and the unfortunate incidents that happened to all of you. And I would like to start with you, Preacher Bob. Bob, tell us what happened the day they installed the crosswalk.
Well, it was a regular day. I was teaching my gardening classes. Actually, one of the finest students I have is actually Angela. That's Clarice's child. And I was working with her, explaining to her about the miracle of life and how it can be translated into when you plant things and how far you plant one thing from another. Then I heard, of course, that they were going to be making that crosswalk. So I thought maybe I would just kind of wander down there, maybe speak to one of the people who are doing it and try and convince them that this is the wrong thing. It's the wrong time in the wrong place. And I talked to the guy for a little while and I thought I was convincing him. And then he brought up the fact that he thinks that we might all become zombies because he had heard from Zena. And then I was scared. I didn't want to turn into a zombie.
I hear ya.
I didn't want to turn into a zombie. Right. And as I was in this state of distress, the construction worker, he said, snap out of it. And he went like this, snap out of it. Sure. My head spun around, broke my neck. I fell into the cement. And that's where I lie for eternity inside the crosswalk.
Wow. Okay. You okay? I didn't know. Well, you're in the cement. All right. That's very interesting. I'm going to go to you, Clarice. What happened on that day? Because I know that you're pretty tied in with all the potpourri, the zombie. What happened?
Well, I am so. That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Because I walked down there again on that last day. And of course, I was going to pick up my kid. And I didn't understand. Like I was looking in the street and it was all lumpy and strange. The ground was all lumpy and strange. And I thought, what is going on over here? So I walked in and then I got stuck. And I tripped and I fell face first in the cement and I drowned in it.
Oh my goodness, the same cement that Preacher Bob is stuck in for eternity.
Yeah, but it was more like I fell on top of it, but got stuck and couldn't breathe and it was horrible. And you just, but you're breathing and
it's okay.
not really appropriate to tell that sort of story to mixed company, but it was not pleasant.
Don't feel like you have to relive it. It's okay. We're going to come to you, Zena, because I know that you had some issues with Clarice and the potpourri. So tell us about the day that they put the crosswalk in.
That useless crosswalk. But I'll tell you, I heard all this noise, all this ruckus happening, ran outside, and Preacher Bob and Clarice in the cement.
Yeah.
I thought they were zombies, but they weren't. They didn't turn into zombies.
No.
But you know what? Good thing that they were face down in the cement, because that's a heck of a lot better than turning into a zombie. I mean, I don't know from personal experience.
Right.
But I told you about those stupid kids. She was making the potpourri and the bath salts, and the little brats ate it, and they turned into the zombies. I told you. They turned into the zombies. They came running out.
Right.
Bit me, turned me into a zombie. Thank God. I told you, Andy had the hatchet skills. She came out, off with my head. Dead, blood spurting out. My head, off to the side.
I think that's pretty much the definition of irony, don't you? I mean, you became a zombie, the thing that you most feared. You lost your head to one of your own hatchets, and a person that you. That's irony there. Okay, so let's go to you, Andy. I understand that you chopped off Zena's head that day.
I did.
Well,
It
what
was a
happened then?
mercy killing. Well, after killing Xena, the poor little kids were zombies, so I grabbed my cricket bat and just bashed their little heads in, because, those are also mercy killings. And they don't want to be zombies any more than Xena did. So
Sure.
I just kind of took care of things. And I was admiring that gorgeous work that the construction workers had done with Clarice and Preacher Bob in the crosswalk. I thought that was a beautiful memoriam. And I was crossing the street, kind of not paying attention and cleaning off my cricket bat. And wouldn't you know, a car came around that corner, even though we had the crosswalk, and just everywhere. I mean, I flew at least 40 feet in the air. They were going so fast. It was when I hit the ground. The cricket bat did not really, truly break my fall.
No, they don't.
So,
They're not good at that.
yeah, not memorialized like Preacher Bob and Clarissa.
So once
just-
again,
Gone.
a little bit of irony there. Yeah. Well,
It was. Yeah.
thank you so much for reliving your stories. It sounded traumatic. And thank you so much for joining us in Improv on a Friday night. And I hope it's not as traumatic as the stories that they just had. There's going to be more improv for you in just a minute. So hang in there. Ooh, zombies are coming.
Zombies, we're all zombies.